Well, guys, on the road for the first time today, outside of having to get gas on my way to work. But on my way to work right now, almost 4 o'clock in the morning, so that's why it is super dark outside. Been up for about an hour, 3 o'clock. Got a long trip ahead of us today. On a long day. It's going to be the longest day probably as far as travel time and time awake goes on this trip. Working at 3 o'clock in the morning, going to try to push it and drive as far as I possibly can later on in the day. I'm going to drive as long as the daylight will let me drive. As soon as it starts to get dark and I start to feel tired, which will probably set in pretty quick at that point, from 3 o'clock in the morning till 7, driving as far as I'm going to drive. So gonna hit that hotel and literally crash out right away. So, should get to West Virginia. We're in Northwest Ohio here. It takes about 3 to 3.5 hours to get to the border. So should get that far. Maybe we can get through West Virginia into Virginia. Might be a little bit of a stretch, but we should knock out most of the drive tonight and literally only have a couple hours tomorrow. So that is the game plan. Just have to see where time takes us, I guess. All right, guys. Well, we have a little bit of a situation here. I'm only on lunch break right now. Was walking back out to my car, go somewhere for my lunch break. 8:30 in the morning. Noticed my right rear tire was flat. Went to go pump it up, and I saw there was a nail in it. And I'm likely going to have to get my tire patched up before I get on the road. So this is going to set me back a little bit of time here. I got the air in it now. Problem is, I'm only on lunch, so I'm going to have to make a phone call here in a little bit. I gotta nurse this thing home first. And then after I nurse this thing home, I got to put the rest of my luggage in my car before I go back to work. I should be fine with the air I got in it. But it looks like a decent-sized puncture. I was at the Detroit Tigers baseball game last night. They had their last home game, or yesterday afternoon. They had their last home game. I must have ran over a nail on I-75 coming back home or something, because it wasn't like that on the way there. And I didn't notice it that low last night when I got home. It was still daylight outside, so yeah, I just noticed it. It either happened this morning or I somehow miraculously made it to work, or at work at some point in time. And there's a ton of construction on 75. Or even here on my intersection, you can see all the barrels repaving the road and stuff very easily. Could have ran over something on the way here as well. So that sucks. Gonna see how quickly I can get this tire patched up after work. Downside's gonna be last time I had to get my tires patched up on my old tire last winter. I had a flat in it. I came back home from Indianapolis, so I'll get more into that trip, some story time later, but had a flat tire in the left rear, nursed it home, got it patched up the next day, and I was sitting in the place for about an hour and a half, so which it doesn't seem like a lot, but if I'm gonna get through Columbus before rush hour, I needed to leave work I'm off at 1, but I need to leave by 1:30 at the latest, and I highly doubt my tire's gonna get patched in a half hour, because the place I go to is super slow and they're always busy. So, not a good sign. I'm probably gonna get through Columbus in rush hour now. It's not what I wanted. Columbus, Ohio, that is. So, well, we'll see. We'll see where time takes us. Gonna see if I can get it patched up. First, I just gotta worry about packing the rest of my clothes. Probably gonna have to find some way to get more change, because I literally used the last of the change in my car to fill it. It was like almost down to the rim flat. So not a good start to the trip, even though the trip technically doesn't start till I get off of work. So sure enough, got an issue like this happening. I just got new brake pads and rotors 2 days ago to set up for the trip because I knew I needed it. So I had to pull some extra money out of my pocket there, and it was in the rear tires. The right rear caliper needed replaced too. Spent $400 to repair that, so I figured my car was good and ready to go, and sure enough, now I'm about to have a flat tire. Stay tuned for more action. My YouTube channel. Oh boy. Well guys, it's kind of what I figured. Just called the place. Just leaving my house now for the final time. Will not be back until roughly Tuesday, if I had to guess. Maybe Monday. Probably Tuesday. But just called my local tire man. They said it would be about an hour and a half if I were to bring it in right now. Again, how does it take an hour and a half to patch a tire? I have no clue. They've got to be busy. It is a Friday. It's probably got a lot to do with it. I'm sure they have a lot of business. This is going to set me back big time. And I don't know what to do. I don't know. It sounds stupid to nurse it, but at the same time, I don't know. I got to get through Columbus today for sure, and it's gonna. I might not even get out of Ohio if I get caught in Columbus in rush hour. I'm probably not even gonna get out of Ohio today, and that's gonna leave me way behind because I've already got a ticket booked for the NASCAR Hall of Fame tomorrow. Probably gonna have to push back the North Wilkesboro portion of the trip till Monday. I'm not gonna go there on race day. This sucks, man. It's just we're in a tight spot here. We've got, I mean, he said an hour and a half. I can easily see it being 2 hours. If I don't get out till 3:30, I'm gonna get caught in rush hour in Columbus. I'm gonna get there right at 5:30. It takes about 3.5 hours to get out of Ohio, north to south. I mean, I'm on the northwest point of the state, literally about 45 minutes from Michigan border. So, saying this is not looking good off to the start, but we'll keep on digging. I've got a couple hours of work left. I'm gonna have this on my mind, and I do have to think about it. So I just have to see where we're gonna go when I get off. Definitely gonna put air in it before I leave. Again, we'll see. We are on the road. Just getting onto the Ohio Turnpike. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Got my tire fixed. We are good to go. Had to get it passed. I didn't want to take the risk and try to drive as far as I can because I felt like that would have been the stupidest decision I could have made, especially considering the fact of how much money it would have had to be to get my car towed and so on and so forth. So back on the road, delayed 2 hours. So really, I could have been in Columbus by now. And likely we are going to run into Columbus during the rush hour traffic, so that's going to be fun. To avoid that, I'm going to go more towards Cleveland on the Ohio Turnpike and then cut south once we get to Akron. And we should be getting to Akron at this rate pretty soon here, probably within the next half hour. We're going to be very close to hitting the rush hour traffic if we can get through then. It's going to take an extra 15 minutes to get there than originally expected, but 15 minutes compared to going through the rush hour traffic, it could back us up anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. We were already backed up 2 hours to begin with. So this drive, although altogether to get from where I live to Charlotte, 8 hours and 45 minute drive, it's still going to be about that long. We're going to add 15 minutes. So I think Google Maps said about about 9 hours and 1 minute would be the expected arrival time if we were to go this way. So again, only 16 minutes longer of a drive. We're making good pace right now. Traffic's been flowing pretty well. Somewhat busy, not terrible, but again, we'll get there. Still got a few more hours before we get to the West Virginia border. And with getting put back, who knows if we're going to get to Charleston by sundown tonight. It's going to be close. I wanted to go a little bit further than that. Thought we could have gotten close to the Virginia border. That's probably not going to happen for sure. We should be able to get to Charleston. Beyond that point, I'm not totally sure. Again, I'm going to be saying this a lot, but we'll just have to see where time takes us. Nothing we can do about it other than driveless car. So that's that. Well, guys, you can tell I'm tired. Made it back to the hotel, trying to keep it down. There are people around. So, ended up driving until about 11:30. About to hit the hay. And wake up for tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be a big day. Gonna go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Maybe visit North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's gonna be a good day. A lot shorter than yesterday. That was a long drive. I wasn't gonna try to go straight, but just kept booking. I ended up driving all the way through Virginia nonstop. Didn't have to get gas until like southern West Virginia. Probably about a half hour, 40 minutes out. Got gas, came the rest of the way. So I'll be able to get gas. I'm still about 40 minutes north of Charlotte, so still got a little bit of a ways to go. But, I mean, we'll be there within, like I said, about 40 minutes or so. Only about 50 miles out. It's going to be a good day.